everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Robin, or Hobbit's Reading List, and this month is going to be the month of Miscellaneous, because, God, that sounds stupid. I'm leaving this in, but that sounds dumb, I will admit that, because I'm going to try to get ahead on Wodehouse, because I will be doing a lot of reading for my classes come the fall semester. So we're going to be trying to fit as much Wodehouse as possible in August, which will be something. So my dad and I sort of came up with a plan because I only have so far one of my book list for one of my classes, and that book list has 8 books on it. So that is roughly a book for class every 2 weeks. And I don't know what I'll have to read for my other class. So in preparation of that, we have decided that we will try to read 4 books in the month of August, record 4 podcasts so that we have a little bit of a buffer, so that if there's a month that I can't get the Wodehouse done, that we have some wiggle room. So that means that half of my TBR will be Wodehouse, ideally. If it's not, I'm going to have an insane amount of books on this TBR. So I guess stay tuned to see what happens with that. If this is your first TBR Pursuit video, I play a game using the Lord of the Rings Trivial Pursuit board. Each color represents a different genre that is on my physical shelves. They are the 6 most popular genres on my physical TBR. And the bigger spots at the end of spoke is Miscellaneous, which is what I will be aiming for. Because I think there's a higher likelihood of me getting a Miscellaneous prompt that will be able to fit a Wodehouse in, rather than if I went for classics. Even though Wodehouse is considered a classic, I just think the prompts that I have in that category will not fit as many books as I wanted to. So there is that. And I also do have the purple roll again spots, which adds a book to my TBR. I may do some, depending on how many Wodehouse I'm able to get on the TBR up until that point, but it's purely based off of guessing and what prompts I get. So I'm going to get set up, and let's see how nice August is going to be to me. Since I'm going for Miscellaneous, I don't actually know what direction to go in. I guess let's leave it up to fate. Okay. I mean, I guess I'll go for classic, even though I don't think that will get me a Wodehouse book, but I need a direction. Oh, actually, that is helpful. Adapted to the screen. A lot of Wodehouse books have been adapted to the screen, so great. A classic book that was adapted to the screen. That was not as easy as I thought, because obviously my thought was like, a lot of Wodehouse has been adapted in various ways for the TV or movies. It has happened. But the 4 books that my dad and I are reading next, only one of them was adapted. Well, that's not true. I didn't look at one of them. But the last book that we're going to try to read in August is called The Clicking of Cuthbert, or Cuthbert. I don't know how to pronounce it. And apparently, it's a collection of short stories. And apparently 6 of the stories were adapted to some sort of like golf video thing. That's what Wikipedia said. I'm like, that's good enough. I only know it's short stories. I can't tell you what it's about. I don't think I know any of the characters there in this collection. So it's a Wodehouse book. It should be funny. Should be. I can't promise that all of them are. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Miscellaneous. Oh, this is working in my favor. Published or set before 1999. Wodehouse died in late 70s, 80s maybe. So definitely can get a Wodehouse with that. A book that was set or published before 1999. So Wodehouse passed away in 1975. So this prompt is really helping me out. It's another Wodehouse book. It's just so much Wodehouse this month. Oh god. And if you don't know who Wodehouse is, I'm just gonna say this. Usually I don't say this, but he was a very prolific writer, starting from I think 1902 up until his death in 1975. And I'm not sure, but I have to imagine that there were some that were published after he passed, but I'm not positive. He is a comedic writer. He wrote Jeeves and Wooster, as well as Blanding's Castle, and a slew of other books and stories and universes. He was very prolific. My dad and I have a podcast that we record once a month. Obviously, we're changing that a little bit right now, but it comes out once a month, so we really try to stay ahead of that. Yeah, he is very funny. I would say most of his stories make me laugh, make me smile. It's very rare that I find a story of his that I just do not like. I think so far I've read maybe 3 or 4 that I rated below a 3-star. So pretty solid, I think. Anyway, as for the book that was set or published for 1999, it is The Swoop by PG Wodehouse, or otherwise, I believe has an alternate title of How Clarence Saved the Day or something. It's The Swoop, or How Clarence Saved England, A Tale of the Great Invasion. Okay, and Storygraph, sometimes this happens with Wodehouse. Storygraph, the first edition that came up, was more of a disclaimer from the publisher about possibly not being able to reproduce it 100% accurately, so I don't actually know what it's about. I do know that the Clarence mentioned in the title is not Clarence, Earl of Emsworth, who is one of my favorite characters in the Blanding's Castle series. He is my favorite characters in the Blanding's Castle series. I've been told that is not the same Clarence, so already this book is not starting out strong. 2 is a roll again, so I guess I will be adding a book. I'll go this way. Alright, so now I need to get to 8. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. LGBT. 2, 3, 4 is fantasy. I'm not going to do another roll, but it's LGBT or fantasy. Ooh. Let's do LGBT. All my LGBT have disappeared. There it is. Okay, awesome. Winter vibes. Not quite what I was going for. I would like something summery, but that's fine. Okay, getting away from Wodehouse for a second. An LGBT book with winter vibes. So I have Hither Page by Sebastian. I love Sebastian, and when I went to Maine, we went to many bookstores. I think 15? It's either 15 or 16. And my big thing was trying to find queer books. Ideally a queer section, but if I could find queer books, awesome. And most of the time I did. But Sebastian, of course, is going to be a name that jumps out at me because I know that I like their writing. So this is a little bit different from the Sebastian that I have read previously. This is a murder mystery following, it's post-war England. It's following James, who has come back from the war. He, has PTSD. He just wants to settle down in this village and become a country doctor. But there's a murder. And Leo Page may be involved. But Leo Page is also very handsome, and James clocks that. And so they sort of start working together to find out who committed this murder. And this is a series also. There was another page book, but I didn't know if I would like this, so I only got the one. But what is cool is it's signed. That's fun. So 1, 2, 3, which is romance. 2, 3, just roll again. 2, 3 are fantasy. Ooh, romance or fantasy? I'm gonna go with fantasy since it's come out twice now. Okay, we're getting closer. Autumn vibes. A fantasy book with autumn vibes. I can never get the right season. It just never happens. So I picked up A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, which is the second in... Oh... It's the second in a series. I was looking for the series name because I don't remember what it is. Okay, and I don't know if it has a series name. It is a sequel, but it follows the best friend of the main character from A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon. Yeah. So this follows Caladia, who is a witch. She is one of the daughters of the founding families of this town that has various mystical and mythological beings. And Caladia was not my favorite in the first book. So this is either going to redeem her for me or make me hate her. Because I felt like, yes, she was being a good friend and trying to protect her friend, and also not listening to her friend and thinking that she knew better. So that was a little frustrating. Anyway, Caladia stumbles upon a demon who is very vulnerable, seems to have lost his memory, and he has lost his memory. This is Astaroth, who was the mentor to the demon in the first book, whose name I can't remember. But he is a soul bargainer. He's very ruthless, but something happens where he loses his memories, and Caladia, you know, as much as she doesn't like him and blames him for what happened with her friend, she can't just not help, and so she decides to help him get his memories back. But as they do work together, like, there start to be some feelings, and Caladia sees a different side of Astaroth. So there's some, like, do I want his memories to be back? Because he's much better this way. So I am interested in it, but I just don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about Caladia, so we'll see. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5's LGBT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5's fantasy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so again, LGBT or fantasy. I just did a fantasy. I'm gonna say LGBT again. I don't want to have to scroll through all of those again, so I'm just double checking, make sure I didn't miss LGBT. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is the first one. So the first in a series. That might be harder than I think it is. Okay, for the first in a series. I just realized I do actually have a physical copy of this book, but I didn't realize it till just now. And I'm not going to go get it, because it's all the way in a different room. So, I am going to be reading Slow Heat by Leta Blake. I have read Leta Blake before. I read Mr. Jingle Bells by her, and I really liked it. It is long, it is big, and if I remember correctly, Slow Heat is also sizable. But she does the relationship development well, and she does the spicy scenes very well. So I have high hopes for Slow Heat. I'm going to read the end blurb. This is a standalone gay romance novel, 118,000 words, with a strong, happy ending, as well as a well-crafted, non-shifter Omegaverse with alphas, betas, omegas, male pregnancy, heat, and nodding. Content warning for pregnancy loss and aftermath. So, and the only other thing that I think is like super relevant is that there is a young alpha who sort of like imprints on an older omega, which is the reverse of what you would typically see in Omegaverse, so that's kind of nice. The omega he's in his mid-30s. He seems very cozy. He's settled into not having an alpha, not being bonded with anyone. He's sort of accepted it. And then this guy named Jason comes up. They sort of imprint in a very like public way, but they try to postpone their urges while there's some sort of contract. I'm not sure what that means, but also the older omega has some trauma, I'm assuming related to the pregnancy loss, so they sort of have to work together. So I'm excited about this one because I do know that I like Leta Blake, so this should be pretty strong. Okay, 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and go back to Miscellaneous. Okay. That cannot be a wood. Actually, I think that is a Wodehouse. Okay. My most recent purchase. Oh, I'm so happy about this. I got most of the Wodehouse on this TBR already. Do Butlers Burgle banks? I guess the obvious answer would be no, but there's a whole story attached to that. So it is about this guy named Horace who sort of poses as a burglar to burgle a bank. And there's this other guy, Mike, who I think works for a bank, is obviously trying to maybe prevent that. And then there are hijinks involved. But I mean, it says it's classic or vintage Wodehouse, which is reassuring. So, should be okay. Okay. Oh, what? Oh. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Psychology. I didn't have a lot of choice there. A friend recommendation. Okay. I think I can work with this. A psychology that is a friend rec. Unsurprisingly, I don't have my friends recommending many psychology books to me. I do have a degree in psychology, for funsies. Just like my literature degree. But I did have a friend recommend this to me primarily because of my ADHD, which makes sense because it's ADHD After Dark. If this looks familiar and this is not your first TBR video, it is because this has been on my TBR before. I honestly think it was on my TBR like maybe a couple months ago. I didn't get to it. I would like to finish it because I started reading it. I'm on chapter 9. And I have like, I don't know, I also want to say like 150-ish pages. Well, no, more like 180. But still, like that's not that bad. So I would like to finish it. It would be great if I did. It's about, I didn't even talk about that. It's about people who have ADHD and how that impacts their relationships and intimacy, particularly, especially if their partner does not have ADHD. Because sometimes it can cause a lot of confusion. ADHD is weird. It affects people differently. There's no one way that it works. And it can be useful to read stuff like this to just know how to handle any things that might pop up in relationships. So there's that. Alright. My likely last roll. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. LGBT. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Classic. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll again. LGBT or classic? I'm gonna go LGBT again, because I think I got all the Wodehouse on. A book with a holiday. An LGBT book with a holiday. So, I've said this before whenever I get this prompt. Most books don't say, like, this has Labor Day in it. Or this has, you know, the Chinese New Year. Oh, actually, that one might actually happen. I just don't own any. Which may be a new goal for me. I was going to say, like, Chinese New Year. But I was like, I actually think there could be books set around it. I wouldn't be surprised if there were. But if there's just, like, a holiday taking place in the book and it's not around the holiday, it's usually not advertised. And most of the books that are around a holiday that are published as so are holiday books. So I'm going to be reading a book about Christmas in August. I'm going to read A Swan for Christmas, which is one of the Kindle books that I got a while ago for free. So we'll see how this is. It is the 4th book in a series, and I'm really hoping that is okay. So it's fascinating. The tagline is, an alpha wolf and an omega swan can't be fated mates, right? So I don't know if I really have to say much more than that. There's an alpha wolf, werewolf if you want to call it that, but a wolf shifter most likely, who is fated mates with a swan shifter, which I haven't read any bird shifter stories, so that's interesting. And I'm very curious about how that's going to impact their relationship. Oh, interesting. Okay, so most of these, like, indie published Kindle books have a little, like, I don't know, genre synopsis, I guess, at the end. So A Swan for Christmas is the 4th book in a multi-author series about Vale Valley, a small town open to everyone in need of love and a home. Each installment can be read as a standalone. Awesome. This Empreg romance story features an omega virgin desperate for love, a lonely alpha who is perplexed by the mechanics of nesting, and a whole lot of hurt, comfort, and smexy times. It says smexy with an M. That's fun. I don't know what I'm going to get into with that. I'm hoping... I'm always optimistic going into, like, any sort of Omegaverse, because I do think they're fun. I'm so curious about the Swan part, but I will read it. I will read it. Probably soon, because I'm so curious. And then, finally, the only other book that I couldn't fit on my TBR, which I honestly debated whether or not I should put it on, because I'm probably going to start reading it this week. But I also have to read William Tell Told Again by PG Wodehouse, which is Wodehouse's take on the story of William Tell. I wish I could tell you what William Tell was about. Is he the apple guy? Like shooting the apple off the head? I didn't ask my dad because I felt like I should know. And now he's gonna watch this and know that I didn't. Yeah. Okay, yeah. It's a legendary Swiss hero known for his exceptional archery skills and defiance against tyranny. The most famous tale involves him shooting an apple off his son's head to avoid execution. Okay, cool. I knew things. That's fun. I'm assuming the Wodehouse version will have more hijinks for sure. So there's that. So that's my TBR. I have 9 books. I'm feeling pretty good about it, honestly, because most of them are not super long. So I think I'll be able to do it. It'll be good. We'll be good. We'll be great. So if you have read any of these books or want to read any of these books or have any questions about any of the Wodehouse books that I've read so far, because you're going to be hearing a lot about Wodehouse in this upcoming month. Kinda sorry about that. Leave me a comment. Like the video, subscribe, click the notification bell so that you get notified every time I upload a vlog so you can see my thoughts in, like, mostly real time. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!